What's up, homieverse? Welcome to this week's edition of The Weekly Pulls. My name's Derek. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Follow me on Twitter at The Weekly Pulls. Follow my co-hosts of The Weekly Pulls podcast at the Tevin minus the I at Z13, Ricky Z. I'm here once again this week to bring you the content you want. That's right, indie comics, the spotlight, number 7. This week I'm going to talk about 6 fantastic titles, a couple of them from creators that I've already hit, but they've sent me more books. Just like on my previous videos, I'm going to leave links in the descriptions to all of the Kickstarters or the links to buy, Twitter handles, everything you need. If anything in this video catches your eye, get in that description, follow the links, and buy some comics. First on the list, if you listen to the Weekly Pulls podcast, you heard us talk to Jake Cohen about Astounding Tales, and he was kind enough to send us a review copy of Astounding Tales number 1. Jake Cohen created this book alongside Ray Griffith. This is a great comic. This is great for kids. This is a love letter to the comics of the past. You follow Billy Potts, girl robot, superhero. She's focused on saving the world. There's some mystery involved in here. I really love the art style. This really is the Silver Age style that we all know and love. If you look at the art back here, it looks like that old school newsprint. Jake Cohen told us on the podcast that this is in fact printed on newsprint. So this is going to have that classic old school feel to it, which I love. Nothing beats the smell of newsprint. I could huff that like Beavis and Butthead huff paint thinner. Astounding Tales, fantastic stuff. Hit up Ray, hit up Jake, follow the links. Next up on this list, I have Murder on the Orient Station, sent to me from Glenn Matchett, created by Glenn, illustrated by Antonio Brandao. I just want to say this opening page is giving me Daniel Warren Johnson vibes. Maybe it's just because I've read Beta Ray Bill a million times. Daniel Warren Johnson just has that style of drawing spaceships. This is the vibe it gives me. Kudos to you, Antonio. I love Glenn's writing. Glenn has told me he's been called the poor man's Greg Rucka. I have to say he is the furthest thing from poor. Glenn, you know how to write a good mystery, buddy. This isn't a very long read. It's about this sheriff on this space station and he has to solve a murder. Glenn is really good with dialogue. In all honesty, he's the king of a good twist. Murder on the Orient Station. If you love a good mystery, good crime, up in a space station, this is sick. On to the next one. Dinner at Dante, sent to me by Russell Lizal, Mark Stegbauer, Josh Southall. This is a really fun story. Dinner at Dante's is a tale as old as time, yet has its own original feel to it. Dante is the owner of a restaurant, a failing restaurant. It's not doing well. He makes a deal with the devil, and that's all I'm gonna tell you. We all know how deals with the devil go. Just ask Peter Porker after One More Day. I love Russell's writing. He sent me more books. I'm gonna read those and review those as well in future videos. Anything from Russell and his team, definitely worth reading. You don't want to miss this, you guys. Ghosts of the Carousel, sent to me by Matt Battaglia. This is one of those comics you have to love. This really tells the story more so with the art than it does with the dialogue. It follows our main character. He ends up at this carnival. He sees what I'm going to assume his wife on the carousel. Is she a ghost? I think so. Go too far into detail because I don't want to spoil it, but I am going to show you plenty of art here. This is beautiful. You want my honest opinion, black and white is its own art form, and he nails it. This comic really is an illustrated metaphor for the battle of this character's demons. This is one of those comics that I would qualify more so towards art. I can see this being in a college course or a high school reading book and students having to analyze the small details. This really is a great piece of work. Matt, thank you so much for sending me your book. This is one that I have not read, but I'm probably gonna back it because I'm a sucker for a Western and horror. You put them both together, you might as well just take my wallet. Grave Robbers, sent to me by Mark Middleton, Rob Schaefer. I'm not gonna lie, the next two have some complicated last names. I'm not even gonna butcher them, so I'm just gonna say their first names, Eugene and Nicole. You know who you are. This comic is available on Indiegogo, fully funded. If you back it, you're gonna get it. They've made the funding, you guys. Round of applause. This is a story about 3 bounty hunters. They have supernatural abilities, and they're on the hunt for a satanic serial killer. Western, supernatural, serial killers. I'm in, dude. This looks sick. I mean, the art in this book looks fantastic. I'm sold. As I've said before, I'm leaving links down below. Check out this Indiegogo. If this looks like it piques your interest, please, by all means, buy this. Last but not least, we have Bad Natures, sent to me by Joshua Smith Jeanman, Ellis Carlos, Sherman Tabayan, and Rick Joseph. This story is about a dysfunctional group of gods who put themselves and everyone else in the world in danger because they cannot come to an agreement on whether or not to create heaven. This is a really interesting story. There's some great characters in here. Fantastic character designs. There's dragons, there's gods. The colors in this comic really pop. I adore all of the designs in this book. It's sick. If you're into fantasy epics and gods arguing, I mean, let's face it, every story there's gods. They can't seem to not argue. This is sick. Definitely worth checking out. Thank you guys so much for sending me your book. Alright, that wraps it up for this week's Indie Spotlight number 7. Like, subscribe, share, and comment. Follow us on Twitter at The Weekly Pulls, at the Tevin minus the I, at Z13 Ricky Z. The Weekly Pulls is expanding. We've got some really big things coming up here in the near future. Big things here on the channel, big things over at the podcast. We're almost up to 1,000 Twitter followers. All of you, thank you. Anybody out there who has an indie comic, you want to send us review copies, you want to send us some promo art with a synopsis just to get you a shout out on here, let us be your platform. We're here for you. Without you, we have no comics. Thank you so much for joining me here. We'll see you next time.